All right, guys, good evening. It is 10 p.m. New York time on Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. Hope everybody's doing well. Just want to make a brief video heading into the last risk event news for the week, and that would be non-farm payroll out of the U.S. Tomorrow. Comes out right at the beginning of the New York session, 8:30 a.m. New York time. So here's what they're expecting. They are expecting uh, an increase in average hourly earnings. And generally, this is the number that's looked at the closest, besides the headline number, because this is a reflection of how much people are making, and really wage growth is really what they want to see. And of course, wage growth can lead to inflation pressures. So actually, they're expecting an increase of 0.2%, which is a pretty decent amount. They're expecting the headline job number actually come out lower than last month at 181,000, so that'll be interesting. And expecting the unemployment rate to stay the same. Now, if you look at this number here with 180,000, today we had the no, excuse me, it was on Wednesday. So yesterday, we had the ADP non-farm employment change. So this is like private payroll. So this one doesn't have the influence that the NFP, the government's NFP one that's coming out tomorrow, but it can be a leading indicator sometimes. And you can see that one blew it away. They were expecting 181,000, they got 275, way higher. And actually, the previous reading from March was revised up from 129,000. So if that's any kind of an indicator, then tomorrow's number should beat this number. And so it'll be interesting to see. As far as analysis goes, there is some post here on Forex Live. It's about a page or two down in their blog. You'll find this, and if you go to forexlive.com, and you can read this. And so basically, um, you know, they're actually saying they think that the unemployment rate will tick down to 3.7. And with the increase of the wages for the month, that would leave the annual the same at 3.2%. So, there is some question about, how this is going to come out, as it always is. Obviously, if there is a downside miss, as it says here, then the dollar is going to be, pressured. My feeling about it is that we may see a little bit of a mixed bag. I have a feeling that this number will come out higher, just based on the private payrolls from Wednesday. This number will come out higher. The unemployment rate may come down a little bit, maybe 3.7. Even if it stays at 3.8, I think that'll be fine. And then again, all eyes will turn to this number here, the average hourly earnings. And then, whatever the breakdown is of the job numbers within this headline numbers will be important. So these are really the two you probably want to look at, because I don't think the unemployment rate will change, or if it does, it'll improve. So that probably will be a neutral to a positive. It's really going to depend on these. And if we get a big beat here, and obviously the trifecta would be, if you get a beat here and then you get a beat on this, then that would be really supportive. But I don't think we'll probably get more than this 0.3. So, we'll have to see how things shake out. But I would definitely look to look at these numbers when they come out, and, break it down a little bit too. There was a little bit of insight on Forex Source about this report coming out. And of course, now I can't find it, so that's okay. I mean, what is on Forex Live is actually just as good. So if we just take a quick look at the charts. So I'm on my trading view here, but here's the euro dollar, and of course the euro dollar is the opposite of the is the opposite of the US Swiss. It moves exactly opposite. They mirror images of each other. And so remember, the euro has been in this downtrend here. However, we've had some a little bit more positive news coming out on the euro. We had some news this week that was on some CPI news that was a little stronger, so that actually caused some rallying, but the market quickly turned that back down because, again, I think the overall fundamentals on the euro are still bearish. However, if we go back to the calendar for the minute, tomorrow morning, also early, a couple hours into the London session, we're going to have CPI flash estimates and core for the Eurozone. So I would keep an eye on these. As I stated in a previous video, these generally are not as market moving. That's why they have them colored orange and not red. But again, I think these could be important. So I would keep an eye on it. And if these disappoint, then there could be a sell on the euro pairs. Possibly. And with that, if the NFP numbers come out strong, in addition to that, that would be a nice selling opportunity on the euro dollar. On the other hand, if these come out positive, then we could see the euro again strengthen, and that might not be the best trade unless the NFP numbers disappoint. So I think that's a really important number to watch on that CPI data, and see how that might, depending, obviously that'll come out a few hours before the NFP numbers. So on this particular pair, you want to definitely make sure you're aware of how that CPI number came out for the Eurozone as you head into NFP and decide whether, if you decide to take a trade, what to pair it up with. So as far as the other euro pairs go, I mean, they're kind of all over the place. So of course, this is the Euro Aussie, which again is being supported because the Aussie's been down. Euro Canadian is just kind of a mess. I'm moving in this range right now, so I'm really not looking at that very much. Euro Kiwi again has been supported because of weakness in the Kiwi, but it is running into some resistance here at these levels. It's having trouble getting back up here. So, but I do think that we might see this push a little bit higher. Now, whether that's positive euro news or whether it's the Kiwi continuing to weaken, we'll have to see. But technically speaking, kind of running out a little bit of gas. On the on the euro yen, this looks like it's kind of, it's definitely heading back down. This could be a wave 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we get back down to this low. I actually measured this before. So from here to here is pretty much about the same as this high back to this low. So I can envision this going down, and perhaps it bottoms out here, and then that ends the trend. And again, maybe the euro news comes out and it's a little bit weaker than expected, and you see this trend down and then turns back up. I don't know. Again, you got to be a little bit careful because Japan is still on vacation, so the yen trading has been very thin this past week. So you have to be a little cautious with yen pairs. And then just quickly go back to the dollar. So here's the US Swiss up to the daily chart. Let me take this wedge off of here. So, again, it's been very strong. And then we've pulled back here. This was from yesterday, actually a few days ago. We had this big strong move down here. So, and it's trying to go back up. It seems to be running out a little bit of steam here. So I'll be looking to see kind of where this looks before the news comes out, and maybe we correct down again and then we shoot back up if the number's good. But I'd be a little bit cautious because, again, we're running out a little bit of overhead steam here. Although the oscillator is still showing that there's more room to the upside. So US Canadian is again showing some strength to the upside, but again it's it went up and then we had this pullback and now we're heading back up again. So this is going to be really just dependent on the data. US yen is again kind of moving back into this range here after going up. So from a pattern standpoint, there's nothing I really like on any of these pairs. So, be honest with you, what I'm probably going to do is let the news come out, kind of digest it a little bit for a short time, because sometimes what you see is a second reaction. So the news comes out one way, price initially runs in one direction, and then half an hour later, whatever, you see it kind of stop and go the other way. And so that could be the case, if perhaps say euro yen is moving down, and then it ends, this trend turns back up, or this again could be affected by the CPI numbers on the euro that are coming out first. So that'll be the first thing to look at, is the CPI numbers that come out at early in the London session here. And then that will help set you up for what you might want to do when NFP comes out. So again, guys, I don't see any really good patterns in my opinion. So I'm just going to sit and let this news come out, and I will trade out of the news and what it looks like. And there probably will be a trade, but NFP doesn't carry the weight that it used to. So sometimes it ends up being really a nothing burger if it comes out exactly as predicted. You may not really get all that much movement, in which case I'd expect the dollar to continue to rally, because that's kind of the momentum it's moving in, right? I mean, it's been going up. So if the numbers come out as expected, which are pretty good, then I expect it to continue. What we don't want to see, as usual, is you don't want to see a mixed bag, right? You don't want to see red, green, red, or green, red, green. Just so, especially with these two numbers, one comes out good, one comes out bad. That will cause a lot of indecision, big wicks on either side. What you want to see is all these things line up, all green or all red, as far as a good trade goes. Because if there's indecision, especially in the average hourly earnings and the actual employment number, then that causes a lot of chaos in the market and a lot of push and pull between different competing things. And eventually the market may find its footing and move on from there, but probably wouldn't happen on Friday. And what ends up happening is you have the market ends up closing or settling in around the price that it started at before the news came out. And that's very frustrating as a trader, because chances are you'll suffer a loss on that. So I'm going to let this come out and trade out of it. I'll see what the patterns are in the morning, but I don't see anything particularly clear right now. I will be watching that euro news though, now when that comes out, because depending how that comes out, that could be a trade. On this euro CPI, they're expecting an improvement on both the flash and the core. So if we get a really good beat on this, especially if it beats these two numbers, even by a small amount, that's going to continue to give everybody a hope that the euro economy is turning around. Although Eurozone ECB people are still saying, don't get too excited about these increases, that they don't see any, longer term turnaround. But the market's fickle, and at least from a sentiment, a short term standpoint, a beat on these numbers, I think would cause a rally. But then again, if they're both a miss, then expect the euro to continue to be pressured. My feeling on it really is that from a trading standpoint, I prefer these numbers to be negative, because I think there's more momentum to the downside. Although we are seeing like the euro Aussie, euro Kiwi going up because of weakness in the Aussie and the Kiwi, so that probably would continue. But I still think there's more pushing back against an up move than there would be against a down move. So again, from a trading standpoint, I probably would like to see these come out negative, but again, I think you just need to see them both come out in the same direction. So either both positive or both negative. And I think at least in the short term, there'll be a trading opportunity on the euro. So I will be watching these, although I don't always, but in this case, I will be taking a look at those when they come out. So, all right, so that's it, guys. I'll try to make a video maybe tomorrow afternoon after the news is out, and kind of see where we settled in. But again, look for congruence in one direction. Okay, if you get a nice confluence of numbers, then that really makes for the best trade. But dig into this number too, because this is the headline number, whatever this comes out at. But on Forex Live, they'll break this down: full-time versus part-time, manufacturing versus service, and you want to see, kind of look at how that comes out. The headline number causes an initial spike one way or another, but you want to break this down. But really, in the end, I think you want to see a confluence of having these all kind of point in the same direction. I think the market sentiment is that, the Fed is not looking to cut rates, but they're not looking to raise either. So a strong beat or miss in one direction could change that. But I think overall, I'd be looking probably for a better trade on this. Well, I think either way, if it comes out, poor on all fronts, I think that would surprise the market, especially how the private payrolls came out, and it would probably be a good sell, especially since the dollar is running into a little resistance where it is now. But if it comes out really strong, it could spike up and then just kind of run out of steam and then go down. But then again, my feeling would be if it's all positive, that'll continue to support the dollar. So I'll look at the patterns in the morning, but I won't be trading into this. I will square up my positions. I currently am in, let's see, I am currently in the euro dollar short. And so I'll be watching that heading into this CPI news for sure. And if I'm still in the trade after that, heading into this news, I will be very careful and potentially, depending where it is, exit that trade before this news comes out. But my first watch will be right here. So anyways, guys, so that's it. I'll leave it there. I'll make another video tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon after the news is out, and we'll see where everything shook out on both fronts. So hope you guys have a great rest of the night and a good trading day tomorrow. And again, please like the video, share it, comment, like the channel if you're just finding it for the first time. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks.